What is up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome back to the live streams. Crack open. Dude, these Perrier bottles have been kind of a pain in the butt to open up lately, man. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're easy, but got to get that mineral water in. How's it going, everyone? Cordetti, what is up? Welcome back. He says, son, how's it going? What is up, everyone? So back from vacation, and we missed a lot. Holy smokes. So it was my first real vacation, I should say. Like, we've had little trips here and there to California, to Bree's parents' house in Texas, to the farm, to Arizona, Vegas, visiting family, this and that, whatever. Quick trips down to Tampa. But it's always been for a reason. We've always went somewhere for a reason. It has never been to just do nothing. So I tried to do some videos and some stuff while I was in Mexico, but the download speed at the Airbnb was 3 megabits and the upload speed didn't even register. So I was like, you know what? F it, man. This is supposed to be a vacation. I'm not even going to worry about my phone. And this freaking phone, it sometimes just sat in the room all day. And it got to the point too where I didn't even wear my watch for notifications and stuff too. So it was very nice to just do nothing. But with that, we missed the 4Runner, the brand new 4Runner, the 6th generation 4Runner. That was spied, and then Westcott Designs and all these other people that have their hands on the 4th gen Tacoma are just doing amazing stuff with them too. And that was another reason why I just decided to just turn off my phone for a full week. Is not that I was getting jealous, but I was getting a little peeved that my truck is still in Mexico. So much so to the point I was like, how far is the plant from where I'm at in Mazatlan to just go pick up my freaking truck and at least go see it? So was getting a little bit jealous of people getting their vehicles and posting it and stuff. But I was like, you know what? On vacation, gonna have some beers, some Pacificos, some food and stuff. And now we're back at the house, getting back on the diet, back on the YouTube, and back on the live streams, doing them every Tuesday at around 6 o'clock, and hopefully this works for you guys. So that is it. Welcome back, everyone. Cordetti, I appreciate it. Got to disconnect from time to time, 100%. New York says, hey, John, how's it going? Josh says, what's up? Patrick says, Westcott lift on 35s looks awesome. I believe one of the photos, too, that he posted the other day of that truck on the alignment rack, I need to ask him. I'm waiting on high-res photos from Jeff. I may message him again, but I know he's trying to get all of his content out there. But I want some high-res photos and high-res video of that SR5 to post a video for you guys with some more detail and stuff, too, from him from that. But, yeah, that truck was on 35s. I believe it was also on 37s. He sent me a photo. He said 37s on this. And I do also have some other video and stuff that I'm waiting to be able to post of some other Tacoma stuff. But yeah, he's doing at it, man. CBI, they have their stuff. Cali Rays, they have a Tacoma as well. They're doing skid plates on the truck. They have their bed panels, the Molly panels in the bed of the truck. They have ditch lights on the truck. Same with Westcott Designs. They have ditch lights, sliders, which Westcott Designs' new ditch lights look good on the truck. Their new sliders look sick. And the roof rack that Westcott Designs has made for the 4th gen Tacoma looks really sick. It looks really, really good. So it's going to be hard. I mean, if you guys know me and my content, I like to change stuff up all the time. I've had 2 different roof racks on this 4Runner. I've had 2 or 3 different rock sliders on the 4Runner. I enjoy to pick out different companies and stuff and just try stuff out because it helps me be better. I just don't want to recommend one thing to everyone and just do a blanket company. That's why I don't go under crazy contracts with companies or anything like that. I just try to, if companies want to work with me and they want me to showcase their product, I'm all for it. So it's going to be hard with this Tacoma because a lot of good companies that I've worked with in the past, they are all some of the first to develop stuff. And I don't want to play favorites. Maybe it'll just have to be half and half with some companies and some in the others, or just do multiple builds. I don't know, man. But a lot of companies are full steam ahead on this Tacoma. But For everyone jumping in, we have just been live for about 5 minutes or so. I just got back from vacation in Mexico, man. It was great to just turn off and just not do anything. It was our first vacation, like legitimate vacation in 10 years. The Wi-Fi there was absolute garbaggio, so I just left the phone in my Airbnb just almost the whole time. I did take it for photos and stuff to document our trip for like my wife and I and family and stuff. But aside from that, it was awesome. So what this live stream is gonna be, guys, we will also go onto Car and Driver's site to show the 4Runner a little bit. But whatever questions you guys have Toyota-wise or anything, just go ahead and put it into the comment section. I will try to keep up as good as possible. You don't have to worry about watching the screen or anything like that on these live streams. What is all this floaty crap in here? You don't have to worry about watching the screen or anything like that on these live streams. They are very just low-key. We just talk and BS, and that's it. Try to just let loose a little bit, you know? So Michael says, hey, John, is it true that Toyota vehicles built in Japan have an extra layer of rust protection for the frame due to being shipped overseas? I haven't heard anything about that. 4Runners are notorious for little surface rust, so I would have to say no, because the 4Runners are built in Japan. Maybe there's a little bit of protection that they put on it just for being shipped, like you said, but nothing different to my knowledge. It would be no different than like a truck that sits at a port in Florida, right, for the salt and stuff. I'm pretty sure that when they ship over here, they're either in containers. I don't think that they're just in an open ship, so maybe that is what helps them with all the sea salt air. But I haven't heard anything about that. That's very interesting. I would like to go to one of the Japan plants one day and just see their whole process. I think that that would be a really cool video to do if I'm ever there, to just see the Land Cruisers going down, hopefully see the new 4Runner going down, GX and all that stuff, just to really just see their whole process in Japan. I think that that would be a really cool video. It may not, you know, be the most intriguing for people, and I'm not sure how I would document it because I'm not really a storyteller. I'm trying to get better at that, but I think that that would be a really cool video to do. New York says, hey, John, looking to get a 24 Pro in underground color. Have you noticed anything off of MSRP? Thanks. There's a lot of vehicles right now off of MSRP because of the rates and stuff like that. There's a lot of vehicles. I think, dude, I'm going to start answering some of these soon. I think our mortgage company sold my information, which I guess they're allowed to do, which is bullshit. And I've gotten so many calls lately about refinancing a mortgage, and I keep answering. I'm like, if you guys can do under 2.5%, well, no, we can't. Okay, stop freaking calling me, man. In a live stream right now. Tier D Pros, they are rarely under MSRP. You should be able to find them at MSRP. That is a pretty good price for a Tier D Pro. You may find some cities or that may be smaller or something like that, that maybe have 1 or 2 Tier D Pros on the lot. If they do, that's crazy. So that would really be your only way to get a Tier D Pro under MSRP. I think that Tier D Pros are the ones that always hold their value the best, and they are the hardest to get, and they're definitely the ones that stay at MSRP the longest. A lot of other vehicles, you can get a ton of vehicles under MSRP right now. All the comments and all these videos that are like, oh, market adjustment this, market adjustment that, it's like Supra BMW comments. They're so old and so annoying. Like, look at rates right now. They're stupid high. So there's no reason at all that, unless you want like the newest of new for Tacoma, there's no reason right now at all why anyone should be paying over MSRP or even at MSRP for a lot of vehicles. Yeah. Jimmy, what's up, man? How's it going? Anthony says, do you think EKDSS will be on an off-road premium? That would be interesting because the GX has that. I'd be curious if they bring it over to the 4Runner, because the Land Cruiser, to my knowledge, I don't think the Land Cruiser has any EKDSS functions. So I'm curious if they'll do a version of that, or X-Reyes, like an updated version of that for like the limited 4Runner, or if it'll just be like the Land Cruiser that has the all-time or the full-time 4-wheel drive system in it. Very curious as to what they will do on the new 4Runner, but hopefully we figure that stuff out around April, May timeframe, because the Tacoma, I believe, was around May. Like, we started this time last year. If I go back on my videos, I'm pretty sure we started around this time last year seeing a lot of the leaks for the Tacoma. And I'm going to go into my my videos real quick to see. But I'm like pretty certain, like for the Tacoma stuff, man, that we started to see a lot of these videos last year, 4 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Holy crap, dude, I post a lot of videos, Jesus. Yeah, about a year ago, I said the wait is over. Apparently, this is the all-new Tacoma, and we were also seeing spy photos of it about a year ago this time. And then after that, we got our first looks at the Tacoma about 4 to 5 months later. So, I mean, it's pretty dang close to that time. So we're starting to see the 4Runner right now. So around April, May timeframe, we should really hopefully get all the information possible, and we'll dive into it. Actually, you know what? I'm starting to see a lot of 4Runner questions right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just share a screen, and I have to load it real quick, and we're gonna load Car and Driver's 4Runner thing. Car and Driver, and this is why these live streams are super low key. I don't have anything prepared at all, because we just vibe and just have whatever, you know. 4Runner spied. Car and Driver 4Runner spied camouflage. Let's look it up. And this is why I want another monitor too, when we move and can do all that stuff, so I can see everything better. All right. All right, so new question. We'll just look at the photo of it real quick, and we'll have it there while we ask questions. So Michael says, also, do you think that the 4Runner will have an OEM lift like they made for the Tundra? I don't think that they did that for the Sequoia based on the configurator. Yeah, they didn't really do the Sequoia at all for that. The new Tacoma, it's going to have its own TRD lift kit as well. Toyota hasn't given us any additional information about that yet. But I think that they should for the 4Runner. I mean, it's going to be an off-road vehicle. People are going to lift it on their own. So, like, why would Toyota not do that for the 4Runner? Test drove a 24 Tacoma today. Seems so much more comfortable. I'm telling everyone that is a four-cylinder hater and just doesn't like change, the moment they drive the new Tacoma, they're going to realize just how much better it is than the third gen. Everything from space in the interior, how the seating position is, the powertrain, and that's not even the hybrids yet. Like, it's really good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Cyber. Will the new 4Runner have a iForce Max hybrid engine? So I believe it will. So if we look at Car and Driver's, so Car and Driver, Motor Trend, all these big publications, TFL, all these big guys, right? They don't really do stuff that they're not sure about, right? So this article here too, it was kind of crazy that this Car and Driver employee just so happened to be at the right spot. I feel like these things are intentional, honestly. Like, I really do. Even though Toyota, like, they deny it, I have just a feeling sometimes that some of these things are intentional. But who knows? Maybe one day I will see a press Toyota or a camouflage Toyota driving, right? And I'll take the photo and they'll be like, really, John, are you sure about that? But anyways, publications like this and big publications, they rarely comment on something unless they're 100% accurate, right? So powertrain details are unknown, but judging by the Tacoma offerings, we'll expect to see a turbocharged four-cylinder, just like the Tacoma, with 270. I don't think that it's going to range. I don't think that there will be a lower horsepower number like on the SR Tacoma. I just think that it's going to go straight up to the 278, and the hybrid as well. That's the 326 with like 465 foot-pounds of torque, and the normal iForce engine will have 317 foot-pounds of torque. So that has been the rumor for months now. It's been the rumor for months that was going to be a thing. 6th Gen Tacoma forum, they've been commenting about it, even down to the fact that the new 4Runner will potentially have a manual transmission, which I think that would be absolutely wild, that would be in a 4Runner, again, when it hasn't been a thing, I want to say, since the 3rd gen. Lang says, will the current 4Runners depreciate in value after the next gen releases? I think that there will be this hover point. There'll be this hover point, but I think once people start modifying it and the reliability starts to prove itself, I feel like these two 4s are going to be a bit better in the reliability realm than like the unfortunate start that the Tundra and Sequoia had. Although the Sequoia was a year later, and you don't see any of these catastrophic things happening with the Sequoia. That was just like an unfortunate short amount of run of early 2022 Tundras that were just milled absolutely poorly from Toyota. So we don't see any of this in the newer Tundras or even the Sequoias that came out a year later, right? So I think, though, to answer this question, that all values will go down of old vehicles when the new one comes out. There's going to be, depending on how like much this 4Runner like steers itself away from the current gen. I'm going to zoom in just a little. Oop, that doesn't work. From the current gen, I just don't see the current gen holding its value forever, right? Like it may for a little bit, but once the 6th gen starts to prove itself, like all the other 4Runners before it, I hope. I don't see like your 4Runner just not going down in value really ever because a new vehicle's out. I feel like hopefully Toyota will do a good blend of new and old with this 4Runner. And we're about 9 minutes behind on questions, so I'll go through it real quick. Michael says, just saw a 24 Tacoma Sport at my dealership in New Hampshire for the first time. Looks big. Debating on Blue Crush or Bronze Oxide for an off-road. Not sure which it would be. Man, Blue Crush looks great, but Bronze Oxide looks really, really good. And it is a little bit bigger, taller, a little bit broader of a vehicle and better edges too than the 3rd gen. So it definitely looks a little bit bigger. It is taller than the current gen too. Jay says, hey John, hope my people treated you good in Mexico. What was your favorite part about the trip? Man, probably just turning off. I honestly think that was really my favorite part about the trip. Obviously the food. I grew up in San Diego, so Mexican food is not new to me. I love it. I miss it. It's incredible food. And then just everyone in the area that I was in, I speak like just a little bit of Spanish. I can understand Spanish better than I can articulate it. So that was cool that the locals appreciated that a little bit. And then just finding new things, exploring new areas. I love doing that. I've become a little bit, not of a house hermit here, but like just, I've explored this area as much as I want to. Friends have moved away from this place. I've lost friends that, we just have different mentalities in this area and just grew apart and stuff and other crap. But like, I just don't care to be in this area that I live anymore. And like going to Mexico and just exploring and driving and putting stuff into Google Maps to figure out where something's at and like wanting to go to a restaurant somewhere and figuring out how to get there. Like that was just a lot of fun to do again. So it makes me, with the mentality of moving somewhere else, just that much stronger of wanting to do that for a fresh new start. So, but yeah, Jay, everyone there was absolutely awesome. It was a great time. Judy says, do you think that the 6th Gen 4Runner will offer a model for non-off-road folks? 100%. This one right here that we were looking at in on Car and Driver, I want to say was more of a off-road based vehicle just because of the tires here. Like these are probably 18-inch wheels. And man, dude, those almost look like 33-inch tires. Like those actually look like pretty big tires. And they do look like the TRD off-road tires. But 4Runner has always made a version that is not for off-road folks. You have the SR5, you have the SR5 Premium, which people do build up for off-road, but it's not designated for off-road. And then also, you have the Limited. So the Limited is a very street-focused vehicle. And then recently, Toyota has kept the TRD Sport forever. So there will probably be like a TRD Sport version that may have the manual in it. They'll have the TRD off-road version as well, the SR5, and also the Limited. And I have a feeling they may bring a Trail Hunter 4Runner as well. So a Trail Hunter 4Runner may add itself to the pack, which would be pretty cool to see. And then, normal V6 or V 4-cylinder and then a hybrid. Stuart says, when do you think that we will see the first Trail Hunter model? Any concerns with dealerships trying to take on installing and repairing overland parts and extra warranty work? So the Trail Hunter should be here around April-May timeframe. That is a hybrid vehicle, so it should be here around that timeframe for the Tacoma. And to my understanding, like all these dealerships with their master techs and everything, they're gonna know hopefully how to go about adding these parts to the vehicles. That's what the whole Toyota AAP program is. Dealers literally have a step-by-step guide provided from the manufacturer that makes these parts on how to install it correctly onto a vehicle. Toyota signs off on it. They make sure that the trucks are good to go. So that's why like not just any company can just be added to the AAP program. Companies have to go through a whole lot of crap to be able to be part of Toyota's AAP program. So I don't have any concerns. I mean, again, there are good dealerships and there's bad dealerships, right? But I don't have any concerns about dealerships kind of, not being the best for installs. I just lost where I was at. I'm sorry, guys, because I was scrolling up to see something. 47 base for a new 4Runner. I feel like that may be a little bit high because the current 4Runner starts at like 41. If it starts at 47, the Land Cruiser starts at, dude, it may. I feel like the 4Runner is going to start around 45-ish. I know that's only $2,000 difference, but I would like to see the 4Runner stay into the 40s as long as possible, and even maybe the TRD off-road starting at around 47 to 49, because the Land Cruiser is starting at 55 with the hybrid powertrain. So hopefully there's a lot of 4Runner pricing that's in the mid to high 40s, low 50s, and then the TRD Pro just being at about $65,000. Because the new TRD Pro right now is already stupid expensive for the 4Runner, right? For like what you get. So I really think that it will be around 60s or so, maybe even a little bit higher, depending on like how balls to the walls Toyota makes that. If you were to sell your 4Runner right now, what would you price it at? If it was a couple months ago, I would have said like 47, 48. I have no idea what the current market is on my 4Runner. I do know that it's super rare. And there's hardly ever any Cavalry Blue 4Runners for sale. It just hit 40,000 miles, so I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully I don't have to figure that out one day, but it would be really hard if someone told me they would give me $55,000 cash for my 4Runner. Not saying I would sell it for that. That's a ridiculous price. But if someone offered me that for my 4Runner, it'd be very, very hard to say no. As much as I love it, it would be very hard to say no. That's good money. The 4Runner's paid off. So that would just be cash in hand, which would be absolutely awesome. Mark says, I got a 24 Tacoma SR5 underground color under MSRP. Congrats, Mark. That I didn't mean to just click off on you. That is freaking awesome. I hope you're still in here. I'm about 12 minutes behind on comments, guys. So if you're in here and I haven't answered the question yet, I'm trying to get to everyone. But that's awesome, dude. I've seen a couple posts where people have gotten under MSRP on brand new Tacomas. There's a post going around right now showing what the invoice is that dealers are paying for these trucks, and people are commenting that they got theirs at invoice, which is really freaking awesome. So good job, dude. That's awesome. Patrick says, I still don't know what color to get for the off-road. I know some colors look better in person. Which colors look better to you? The underground looks great with the shade, but all about the full sun. I think underground for a TRD off-road, you can't go wrong at all with that. The TRD off-road looks really good on the Tacoma for sure, and even the 4Runner. I can't remember which vehicle you're talking about. Woodux says, love the new 24 Tacoma. Finally test drove a sport 4-wheel drive, has really good power. Yep, and just remember, guys, that same powertrain is going to most likely be in the 4Runner, right? It's most likely going to be in the 4Runner. And it packs a punch. That torque comes on so low at only 1,700 RPM. And just remember, there's a hybrid version that has another like 150 foot-pounds of torque on, like almost. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Moises, what is up, man? How's it going from North Carolina? What is up? Janker says, nice review on the Land Cruiser First Edition. Have you heard any more about the release dates and the overall impressions of the First Edition? So I saw a little thing that the first editions are going to start to be made next month with dealership deliveries around late March into April. Most likely it'll be April timeframe, just because I'm not sure how Toyota would do that. Our driving event for the Land Cruiser is in April. So typically they like to release the vehicles to the public around that time, and hopefully we get pricing and stuff too. So the Land Cruiser is most likely going to release with the Tacomas all around that April timeframe. Sun says, hey, John, how are you? Is the UX Lexus 250H, will it be coming with a plug-in hybrid for the next year or for 2025? That is a question for another person. I'm not 100% sure. You would have to check on Lexus's website. I am not versed in the crossover Lexus products as much as I am. I know for the RX, they're coming out with a plug-in hybrid next year, but I don't know anything about the UX. That is a very small vehicle. Very cool looking, but I don't know a lot about the UX. I actually want to say that there is a plug-in hybrid, but you could definitely check out Lexus's website for that. Kevin says, I have a 2020 Army Green 4Runner TRD Pro fully paid off. Hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. Would you sell it and roll that equity into a 24 Terra Pro? I personally would, if you can, and if you get well, you wouldn't need a good rate or anything, right? Because that equity in that vehicle, you would get pretty dang close. You may have to be out of pocket a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, but it'd be cool to drive that vehicle for almost free for like 3.5 years, right? And then you get a brand new vehicle. I would, unless you have personal connection with that vehicle, right? And if it's overly modified or if you have a lot of miles on it, I would 100% trade that in. If I didn't like my blue so much, I would consider trading it for a underground. And I already told myself that if for some reason Toyota for the 2024 model year, or whatever the last year of the 5th gen was, which we now know is the 2024 model year, if they made Heritage Blue as the TRD Pro or as like last hurrah to like the 5th gen 4Runner, this thing was gone. This thing was gone in a heartbeat for Heritage Blue because it's that same kind of shade of blue. But it has the moonroof, it has the JBL sound system, it has the CarPlay, the 360 camera, even though it looks like a potato, it still has like all of the last good bit of 4Runner in it, and it's still very close to this shade of blue. Joe is, I believe Joe commented this too on the video. He's super sure that this is still a 5th gen 4Runner, which, I mean, I don't think so, bro. I mean, like I commented back to your comment, and I'm pretty sure that was your comment, Joe, was that what's cool about that, if this looks like a 5th gen, that means that they're keeping the look of the 4Runner. That means that they're keeping the look of the 4Runner, and it's not going to go like just completely bonkers and not be a 4Runner. Like with the back of this all angled up, I'm like 99% sure that there will be a roll down window, which will be awesome. Everyone has been saying, John, they're getting rid of it and stuff. Other people have said, oh, they're getting rid of it, and people are convinced. I've always been on the bandwagon that it's staying. Can't say why, but I've always been on the bandwagon that it's staying, right? I mean, Toyota would just be so dumb to like take that away. Like that is such a iconic feature of the 4Runner to have right there. So, but it just looks like a 4Runner. Like I can't wait to see all this gone, see the tiny little window right here like you do on the current gen, the C-pillar that comes up a little bit at an angle, that rear window that rolls down. I really hope that this right here, this is not a light bar. That may just be tape or some sort of reflector DOT standard for having a fully camouflaged vehicle like this, right? Like how we see right here on the right-hand side with that little bit of a reflector. This may just be like some sort of reflector because you could barely see the third brake light. I hope that there's not a LED bar that goes across there. That, to me, that's just too Lexus. But yeah, I mean, if they're messing with us, right? The good thing is that it just looks like a 4Runner still. So I'm going to skip a couple comments, guys, to get a little bit caught up because we are about 15 minutes behind on comments. But I appreciate everyone's comments all the time, man. You guys are freaking incredible. And we're actually not too far behind, but I just don't want people to dip out if they have to go somewhere and I don't answer their question. So Kyle says, hey, John, do you think, what do you make of folks saying this must not even be a Toyota vehicle since it doesn't seem to have the same number of lug nuts on the wheels? So I saw that in a comment, and I don't get that because if we zoom in a little bit more, if I can, with the, come on. It's not letting me zoom in more. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 there, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 here and 6. So this has 6 lug nuts on it. I saw that in another comment too. And then this one is just like a potato, super hard to tell what this is. But it looks like there's 6 lug nuts there, especially in that second photo. So I mean, and Michigan is where all the Toyota's R&D stuff goes. All their other vehicles that are fully production vehicles, they all have a Texas plate. Michigan is a Toyota plate. That vehicle that I posted about the other day that I quickly took down and didn't keep up for clicks or anything like that, that I thought was the 6th gen 4Runner, right? I got that text message on, what day was it? It was Thanksgiving. I got a text message on Thanksgiving. A follower saw a vehicle that was super convincing to be like a 6th gen 4Runner. It was an Asian engineer, Asian drivers and stuff that were inside the vehicle. He saw red seats in it that looked just like a TRD Pro. It was very off-road focused. So I made a video on that, and I can't remember where the license plate was from, but when I took that video down and got confirmation that it was a Nissan Armada, I think, and then I looked up all the spy photos and it was 100% a Nissan Armada, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't care about Nissan, so I wouldn't know that. My Toyota contact as well said, yeah, we don't have any plates that come from there. All of our plates are from Michigan for all of our R&D vehicles. So that is why this also, to me, is most likely the 4Runner. Not only did Car and Driver say that, Michigan license plate, it wasn't what the Nissan Armada was as well. And when I zoom into this photo, I mean, even though the photos aren't the best, right? When I zoom into this one, it really does look like it has 6 lug nuts up front right there. Any rough dates on 4Runner debut? I'm going with April, May timeframe. Same as the Tacoma. The Tacoma was around May, I think, was when we were in Hawaii for that. And we've been seeing the Tacoma around this time. Actually, we got the Tacoma a little bit earlier. I want to say like December timeframe was when the actual like teasers and stuff started coming out for, or no, teasers were later, but spy photos, I think, were prior to that. Catalyst says, super difficult to decide if I should get a current generation or wait for a new one. The current generation is so venerable. I don't know what that word is. I don't know if I should get a new gen that could beat it. What's your opinion? I think, so I'm going to make a video on this because I get this comment a lot. I would say 100% if you could find a 5th gen, go for it, right? Because if you're unsure of in the first year, Toyota is super slow, and it kind of frustrates me, man, like how slow they are to roll out new vehicles. I would just get a 5th gen. Get a 5th gen. You know how it is. You know what you're getting into. You know how well they hold their value, right? They're not going to make a crap ton of 4Runners the first year. Look at Tacoma. I mean, my gosh, I was supposed to get my truck in January, right? And now it's looking like a March timeframe. Thank God it's been built already. But still, I'm still waiting for it, right? And that's a couple months into the model year already. So they're definitely not on track to make as many as they want in the first year. So if you see the 4Runner out there and maybe it has some issues the first year, you have a 5th gen, right? Or if the 4Runner is amazing and you're able to find it and your 5th gen has held its value, then maybe just trade up for a 6th gen 4Runner at that time. Is the 2024 TRD Pro going to be going for? Any one getting them below MSRP? I think I already answered Tom's question for that one. If you weren't in here, Tom, and maybe you're not again because this question's like 20 minutes ago now, you can get a TRD Pro for MSRP. There's tons of dealerships that do MSRP for sure. And then Joe also says, rip a power window on the 6th gen. Bro, I'm all about it staying there. All about the rear window staying on the 4Runner. Mike says, I think for the Tundra OEM lift kit, you can either get it installed straight from the factory. They won't install fog lights, correct? Or from Toyota Service Center. Would you trust factory install more? I would personally trust the factory installed more just because it's going down the assembly line, probably better tolerances. But then again, like you said, you lose the fog lights. And I think it may be a tiny bit cheaper to do it that way as well through the factory. So if I was in the market for it, I would probably do it from the factory if possible. Daniel says, it would be interesting to see the 4Runner increases the wheelbase like the Prado and the GX did. I feel like it may get a little bit longer of a wheelbase just for seating purposes. But I'm curious to see how much it will grow. It's either going to stay the exact same as the 4Runner behind me, or maybe it will just grow a little bit to be the size of the Land Cruiser and GX. That would be really wild if they actually did that. Personally, I hope they do, because the Land Cruiser and the GX is like the perfect size. It is the perfect size vehicle. Not too big, not too small. It's great, man. I love the GX. I love the GX. Land Cruiser, we'll have to see when I finally drive it. But man, it is, Corey Daddy says, I'm still waiting for my inquiry to be answered from Toyota Canada about the reasons why they didn't have the Tacoma model ranges here in Canada. Hope to get a response soon. Definitely make a video on that too. I need to catch up on videos, man. So I haven't been keeping track of your videos or anyone's. But yeah, definitely that would be good. Or, you know, when you are able to go to your dealership too, maybe make some videos and stuff while you're there. You're already there, right? Might as well make some videos for that stuff. Jay says probably June for the Tacoma and stuff to be rolling out. Yeah, will the new 4Runner have a third row? I'm curious if they are going to delete it like they did on the Land Cruiser, especially for the hybrid models, but not really sure yet. SR5 and Limited, maybe they'll just leave it in Limited, but like there's been no room in the back of the 4Runner really ever. I mean, the third row was there, which is cool, but there's not a whole bunch of room. Michael says, John bought a 24 Tacoma or a 24 TRD Pro 6 weeks ago. Won my personal bet to buy the last year, heck yeah, of the 5th gen, holding my judgment on the 4-cylinder iForce Max hybrid. Heck yeah, dude. Yep, way to go with your gut. That is really good. I'm not sure how like true it is, but I'm not sure if you guys watch the NFL. But the Super Bowl the other night, right? And that streaker, the streaker that made his way onto the field and everything, apparently he came out on TikTok, and because there was a bet in Vegas, I'm not sure the validity of this, if this is true, if it's just some guy trying to make money on TikTok or become famous. But because it was in Vegas and there was a Vegas bet, he controlled his own destiny. He made a bet saying that there would be a streaker at the NFL. He put $20,000 onto the bet, bought a ticket for $10,000, and then he just controlled his own destiny and he streaked the NFL. So I'm not sure how true that is, but it's just funny that Mike controlled his own destiny and that streaker controlled his own destiny too, which is crazy. Can this picture of the camo not be the 4Runner but the Tier D Pro style Land Cruiser? Man, I don't know. That would be a loot for sure. I don't know. Because some people were saying with this line in the back that they were thinking that it was a GX still, but it could also just be back panels from a GX too. But it just looks so much different. I don't know why they would cover up the Land Cruiser that much if it was a Land Cruiser. I mean, it doesn't look as tall as a Land Cruiser right here. But you never know. Usually when companies make like a off-road version, they're covering up just the fenders. Like they'll leave the sides of the vehicle. This just looks too covered up. It just looks too covered up to like just be an off-road variant, in my opinion, but I could be totally wrong. Waiting for the Tacoma TRD Pro, hopefully by Christmas. How long do you think it will be before aftermarket upgrades will be available? Dude, so companies, that's why I put the Westcott Designs Tacoma in the thumbnail of this. Companies are already at it, man. CBI has their stuff. Cali Rays has their stuff. Westcott Designs. Tons of companies are going to start, like, I would say by the time Christmas comes, you could get a fully decked out Tacoma. You could get bed racks, you could get front bumpers, you could get skid plates, you could get rock sliders, whatever you want on a Tacoma. And that's just the great thing about Toyota and the aftermarket community of Toyota, and the Tacoma being so great of a platform, with the engineers knowing that the aftermarket scene was gonna do stuff with this truck. Like Sheldon Brown, like just knew that aftermarket companies were gonna do everything with the Tacoma, and like they did a good amount, but they left stuff in certain places for companies to be like, oh, this is easy, we can do this. Like they know, which is so cool for the Tacoma. They didn't do that with Tundra, but the Tacoma just has that, man. So, I mean, like Westcott Designs, they already have a roof rack for the Tacoma. They already have their sliders for the Tacoma. They already have their pre-collar lift kit. Cali Rays has the bed molly panels. They're doing a front bumper and everything for that too. They're already talking about the skids that they have pretty close to being done too. CBI and stuff too. I mean, like those are just the big companies that got their hands on a vehicle first, but like 6 months from now, man, when all the other companies start working their lights and all this stuff for the truck, it's going to be a very good platform for things. Full Send Off-Road says, do you think that markups will be like for these 4Runners? The dealership near me has an Ice Cap Tacoma Premium 53 with a 5K markup, asking 58 grand. That's absolutely wild. I have been shopping around for Tacomas too, just in case mine just keeps getting delayed and stuff. And there was a Tacoma for $61,000, and that was the MSRP. It wasn't with a dealer adjustment. That was the MSRP because they just added so much crap to the truck. They added everything to the truck, like almost $5,000 worth of port options. I'm like, is this stuff negotiable? And they're like, not really, not right now because the truck's so new. I'm just like you're not paying an MSRP. I mean, I don't need the truck. I really need the truck, but I don't need the truck. Like, I don't need the truck so bad to pay close to $5,000 or $6,000 more than I'm gonna pay for my truck. I'm not a company. I am a company, but I'm not a company that's making parts on it or anything like that, right? Like, if you're a company and you pay $5,000, $6,000 more to have like the very first truck in your area, and you're one of the first companies to make product for that truck, dude, you're great. You're golden. You know, you're gonna make that money back on the back end, no problem. And especially if you sell the truck off after you're done with it in 6 months, you're not gonna lose a dime. But for me though, like, I don't need it. Like, I'm still gonna be waiting for companies to make parts and stuff. I'm gonna do my road trips with the vehicle, do, MPG tests with it and stuff too. I can't do that video anymore with the front air dam because they don't have it on the Tier D off-roads anymore. Toyota admits that, right? So like, there's still a bunch of videos I could do on it. I don't need it right now, so I wasn't gonna pay another $6,000, $7,000 more for it. But there are those dealers out there, like if someone wants that truck, right, and that's the only Tacoma that they're gonna have until March, April, when the next batch of trucks are released, right, then yeah, it makes sense for that dealership to unfortunately ask for a markup because it goes back to that whole supply and demand. Now, if that dealership is sitting on it and like you keep driving by that dealership for the next 2 weeks and you're like, all right, what's the deal, guys? Then I would see a dealership making a negotiation because it's been sitting on the lot for a couple of weeks. Solid says, is the Land Cruiser event the same as the Tacoma Tier D Pro / Trail Hunter or separate driving events? It will be the same event. So tons of content for that week, for that event and stuff too. So basically all hybrid stuff. Just think about that. It'll be all hybrid stuff. So the iForce Max with those vehicles, can't wait to drive them. Hopefully I could share more details later about what vehicles will be there. I'm going to make sure that we can talk about it, but they've been saying all the time, and even, Throttle House said that they're going to be driving the Land Cruiser in April timeframe. So if they can say it, I'm sure I could say it. For some reason, sometimes Toyota has been a little quiet about their events and stuff. Like the recent Tacoma event, I posted a video a little bit early. Didn't talk about any driving impression stuff, but they didn't want us showing any video at all of the event until the embargo lifted. So that was totally my bad. I didn't read everything the right way. So Toyota is even though Toyota and Lexus are together as one giant company, right? They do their driving events a little bit different and stuff. So, but hopefully we'll have just all the information for the Tacoma and all that stuff during that time. But yeah, so that blue looks amazing. For sure it does, Jimmy. I appreciate it. James says, good evening, John. My white 2020 Tier D Off-Road Premium is paid off, 51,000 miles, all original. Dude, just getting broken in. That is awesome. It's only 4 years old. Paid off. Good job, man. See, it's possible, guys. Stuff can get done if you are determined to do it. Scotty says, buy an all-natural natural 6-cylinder now will last and hold value for years. They definitely will. They definitely will. For sure. Dying to hear about more information regarding the iForce Max Tacoma. Speaking of which, how was your experience on the Tier D Pro? Can't wait for that thing to come out for you to review. Yeah, so I have been doing that video. That was a video that I wanted to edit and upload while in Mexico. And if you guys are just joining the live stream, I was in Mexico for a week and I've just turned off. I was like, you know what? The Wi-Fi here at this Airbnb, absolute garbaggio. It was 3 megabits down. 3 megabits down, didn't even register up. I tried sending text messages, posting some stuff to YouTube and Instagram, and finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put a post here on the community tab and on Instagram and say, guys, I am shutting my phone off for a week. So that was a video that was supposed to go up, and it will be up this week. But driving inside that Tacoma was awesome. It was so cool. They also had the Tundra at that event and the 4Runner as well. Weirdly, the 4Runner was the best. And it's strange because like the isodynamic seats in the video, you can see those seats working like really well. And my head and Brandon Walsh's head, who's a pro Baja racer, which was so sick, our heads are like perfectly level. Our heads are perfectly level. The seats are moving like this. So the isodynamic seats 100% work, but they're one of those things that you don't realize how well they're working until like you watch back the footage and you're like, holy crap, like my head was actually really like straight, almost like a gimbal for your head, which is very weird. But the 4Runner was my favorite, weirdly, and I'm not sure why. And in the video last night showing the Terra 4Runner, I posted the videos of the 4Runner on that off-road course. So if you guys haven't seen it, you can go back to that video. I put it in the chapters at the bottom. I don't know if it was the V6 just revving out because the girl Jess was she just had it in first gear, just just banging off the rev limiter the whole time. You heard the TRD exhaust and stuff. She was drifting the 4Runner. The 4Runner is solid as frick. The 4Runner is solid as crap. And the Fox shocks, and if anyone doesn't know how a 4Runner seats are for the Softex seats, if you sit in a 4Runner, they're some of the most comfiest seats ever. So when we would take off on the jump and then land with the 4Runner, it was literally like a cloud. Like we took off, landed with the 4Runner, and you can even hear how soft it lands in the video too, man. But the Tacoma had the punch. The Tacoma had the power. The Tacoma drifted around better, obviously, because it's a truck, right? You're able to get a little bit more loosey-goosey with the truck than you would the 4Runner. And when it landed very soft as well. The Fox shocks were great. You could feel those hydraulic bump stops when the rear end kind of slapped down too. But with the Tacoma and the Tundra, because, you know, they're trucks, there was a lot more rattling going around, right? Like the tailgates rattling around and stuff, and just the bed itself and stuff. So the 4Runner was super solid. The Tacoma, amazing experience. The Tundra, that was just, I think, a little bit too powerful for the course because that one really drifted around. I really didn't get any footage of the Tundra while I was there. I was just really focusing on the Tacoma. But yeah, long-winded for that one, Ming, but that video will be out this week. I really wanted it up before I went to Mexico just for like promptness and time of hyping it up. But that video will be out this week. And I can't talk about like driving experiences with the truck because I like didn't drive it. But I can just tell you guys just how sick it was, and just you guys can see my raw reaction. I'm going to try to keep the video as raw as possible, like without it being overly boring. Corey Daddy says, if they don't offer the Tundra twin turbo V6 and the new 4Runner, I will jump into the lake. LOL, that's just my expectation. It would be really cool. Like, what a curveball that would be to just have a 4Runner with the V6 and the Land Cruiser doesn't get it. Like, I was really hoping that the Land Cruiser was going to have it, but it doesn't seem to be. Marketing strategy, keep the excitement going. Exactly, Michael. Do you think that people will miss the V6? People will miss the V6. People will complain that it's a 4-cylinder. 100%. So it'll definitely ruffle people's feathers that just like numbers, that 6 is bigger than 4, right? But if you look at the actual numbers, well, 317 torque is better than 200 and whatever it was, right? And then 326 horsepower is better than 200 and whatever the 4Runner's at. I think it's like 260 something or something. I don't even know what the 4Runner's at, 284 or something. But like, if those are the numbers, if you care about numbers, to me, those are the numbers you should be caring about. Or the fact that the torque comes on at only 1,700 RPMs and stuff too. So I think people will miss the V6. I will miss the V6 just because of what it is, right? But I'm not going to miss the driving experience because the driving experience, at least on the Tacoma so far, has been awesome. Jamie says, I went ahead and got a 24 4Runner TRD Pro, not sold on the 4-cylinder powertrains yet. Nope, no worries at all. Mike, like he said, did the same decision as well. He did not get under MSRP for the Pro, but reduced the markup from $5,000 to $2,500. I paid $64 out the door. Dude, that's crazy. That 4Runners are in the 60s now for sure. But yeah, it's people are gonna miss the V6 for sure, and it's okay. Like, just like people have missed the V8 on the Tundra, right? But the more people that drive the Tundras, the more trucks that come out. Granted, again, not the early 2022s that had the engine failures and stuff, but it's just when people finally drive them, they're like, holy crap, this drives really, really well. Now, the Tundra does have some other faults too, right? Hopefully the Tacoma doesn't have, quality issues and certain things rattling here and there and stuff, which we will figure out when the truck goes out to the masses. But once people drive it and experience how that powertrain is, then it'll be great. Andrew says that the new Tacoma in Canada went up by $8,000 in MSRP for an off-road premium. From last year or since they announced it? If it was since they announced it, then that's just wild. Greg says, is the new, oh, he corrected himself a couple times. Is the new Gen 4Runner, if this is the new Gen 4Runner, it looks like the 4Runner and the Land Cruiser will be about the same size, competing with each other. Oh, excuse me. Man, dude, like, I don't know where the Land Cruiser is going to fall with the 4Runner. Like, with the price ladder, I mean, maybe it'll be just more luxury or something like that. And I'm under the impression that the new 4Runner will also be made in Japan. The Mexico plant is to the capacity. I haven't seen any sketches or building plans or anything like that, or any articles that they've been building more there. And I don't know of anywhere in the United States that they would build the 4Runner. So I'm under the impression that it will be built in Japan. But like, if it's not, then maybe that would be a differentiator in price for people, right? Like, it's an American or North American built vehicle versus a Japan built vehicle. But I really hope that I hope that it's the same size. I enjoy the size of the Land Cruiser and the GX. But maybe it'll just cheapen itself by, man, maybe they won't even offer a hybrid with the 4Runner. Maybe the 4Runner would just be like just a normal iForce engine, and just leave the hybrids just for the TRD Pro and Trail Hunter and Land Cruiser. I don't know, but it should just be like the Tacoma. It should be like the Tacoma, but maybe it will be cheaper than the Land Cruiser just because of just materials maybe, or not as over the top on the inside as the Land Cruiser is, for like soft touch here and there. I don't know. And maybe the Land Cruiser is just more too, because of the nameplate, right? I mean, talking about the 200 series, what an overpriced vehicle that was. I mean, 85 grand for a vehicle that's 14 years old just because it has a V8. But like, the materials in it, the materials is what made that a Land Cruiser. And maybe that's still what they're gonna do with this 250 series, is once you start getting up there in price, the materials will make it seem like a more premium vehicle. But I don't know, it's gonna be hard. Jay says that I think it's the Land Cruiser off-road. The tailgate light bar is legit. Oh God, dude, I hope it's not legit. And I really think it's a 4Runner. I'm gonna say that is a 4Runner. Car and Driver says it's a 4Runner. I got texts from some people saying, bro, you went on vacation when that finally got leaked and stuff, and everyone is convinced that it's a 4Runner. But it may just be a curveball. It may be a Land Cruiser off-road edition or a GX or something. Or they may just be using... Because, okay, keep in mind, guys, I'm going back to Jay's comment. Keep in mind that a lot of the early... camouflaged photos that we got of the Tacoma. Now all this Tacoma shit's coming back. So the early Tacoma photos that we got, it had like a Frankenstein front end that looked like an old Tundra, or like even the Tundra photos that we got too. The original was just the cab of an old Tundra, and also the bed that was draped over in the front. And people are like, oh, they're keeping the cab of an old Tundra and making it new, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of these vehicles are Frankenstein. So let's actually go back to that, because a lot of these vehicles, I didn't even mention this in my video, and I don't know what. That's why I love doing these live streams, because everything comes back. A lot of these vehicles, is it sharing? It's sharing. A lot of these vehicles are Frankenstein. So like this whole rear end here, that could totally be a GX, right? Like this could totally just be the GX in the rear end. Maybe they Frankenstein something up here for the rear window, or that they had to body line this, and maybe the bottom half is the GX because like it's the same size or whatever. I don't know. I could be talking out my butt right now. But I do remember that for the Tacoma and Tundra, the early on ones, they were Frankenstein vehicles just all put together. So yeah. It could just be that. Wes says, when you start reviewing the 4Runner when it comes out, you need to tell us if the 12-volt outlet stays in the back, even if the gasoline engine is off. That's great for overlanding, running a fridge and all that. I will, especially too with the hybrid version. That's something that I want to try out in my Tacoma when I get it, if it's available to be on after you shut the vehicle off. Toyota really screwed up the pricing on the Taco. No reason that a truck should be more than $60,000. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why a lot of shit should be like the price it is, honestly, but it is, and it stinks, and we need an adjustment in pricing and everything, but everything's like that. Colorado ZR2, Bison, $64,000 truck. Ranger Raptor, it's getting close to the 60s. I mean, it's just the prices that stuff is. There's no reason why a full-size truck diesel should be $100,000. But it is. Like, it just really sucks, man. But, you know, just got to keep working at it and make more money and complain and freaking get stuff for under MSRP, work the dealers and all that. Westcott Designs just dropped a video getting some bigger tires on a 24 Tacoma, and man, he may just have sold me on getting one. Let's bring that video up real quick of that. I'm going to pull off my YouTube real quick, or that, and go to YouTube. And oh, he did a full walk around video an hour ago. All right, so Jeff did a full video an hour ago, but I'm gonna go to their page here because, wait, what the heck? What did I see that on? Oh, it was on Instagram. Instagram. Westcott Designs, Westcott Designs, IG. Holy crap, why is this going so slow? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add the stage. Boom. Yeah, dudes, look at this. No, why do I have to log in? Oh my gosh. All right, whatever. So on Instagram, Jeff Westcott, dude, this is so annoying. So StreamYard only works on Chrome, and I'm not logged into Instagram on my Chrome. Like freaking, I swear. But yeah, we will, actually, we'll go back to YouTube. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but that's what these live streams are. So, hey guys, so Jeff Westcott has, I'm gonna go to present real quick. Share screen, boom. Look at Jeff, dude. Look at what he's doing with the freaking Tacoma, man. Share. So this is an SR5 that Jeff is doing, and we'll go to full screen. This thing has 285 7017s. These methods are a 0 offset. So I'm sure he's going to be talking here. So he did this in a reel. In the front of the truck, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear it. Front, you're going to remove these little plastic clips. That I showed this in a video. Those little plastic things right there, you can basically take these out, right? And then you take out that little panel in the back to add bigger tires onto the Tacoma. So that's what Jeff is showing us there. And like these tires on this truck actually look pretty good. I think that machine polish is coming back. So yeah, 285, 75, R17. I think that entire math is close to like a 34. It may be like right out of 34 or 35s. And then you can see with this, so this right here is a 0 offset. And I believe that the SR5s and below, and maybe even the TRD Sports, I don't think that they have, I'm gonna make sure that you guys are commenting that you can still hear me and stuff. Okay, yeah, you guys can, because no one's blowing me up in the comments. Shane, I'm actually gonna take your photo away so people can see. So this is 0 offset. So this Tacoma is just like the Tundra in the sense that it pokes pretty far. So I kept, and kind of regretting it now. I kept my Relations race wheels with the 285 7017s on them that I had on my last Tacoma. The wheels will still, or the tires will still be fine, but I think that the wheels are going to poke a little too much. Now, again, I believe that the TRD Off-Road has a little bit wider of a fender, and I'll listen to Jeff's video. Yeah, the TRD Off-Road definitely has a wider fender. So we may be super close to running that like flush with the TRD Off-Road, but that's why I kept the wheels, because I wanted to showcase all that for you guys. Dude, these new rock sliders. So when I was in Arizona at Barrett-Jackson, Jeff was showing me these rock sliders for the Tacoma, and they look super sick. So right under here, you can see how the Tacoma arches right here. He arched this like perfectly well for it, which is just OCD and crazy. Even as it comes to the back right here, when you get the Westcott Design sliders, they taper down right here, which contours to this right here on the rear quarter panel, which is just so sick. And then his welding here, I believe this is a TIG welded rock slider. It just looks so good. And then this is the top plate for that. So he said that he's going to be doing stuff that you can color match this to the color of your truck. So this is like an underground color. And then he has their new roof rack up top too, which is going to be thicker aluminum as well. And this part right here is cut out to be handles, but it also looks like the iForce Max badge. So you cut that out to emulate the iForce Max badge of the trucks, and it's also a grab handle, or you could put like lights and stuff there, which is pretty sick. And then the back here, it tapers just like the Tacoma does. So the little spoiler that the Tacoma has, this tapers back right there. This again is colored, and they have the Westcott Designs. Oh, this is a better look right there. Look at that, bro. And then it's like I said, it's going to be so hard from all these amazing companies that I've worked with that are just so ambitious with just such quality content and or products to like, who am I going to use first? Like it's so, but yeah, so this is going to be a little add-on piece that you could do with the bottle opener right there, Westcott Designs on it, man. And just, this truck looks sick. Oh shit, what's he got on this now? What are these? Oh, those look better. These are 35, so 35 by 12 and a half. So these may be a positive 18 offset. I'm gonna have to watch Jeff's video when we are done with the live stream, but man, that looks so good, guys. All right, back up to some last bit of questions before we head out tonight. So Mike says, hey, John, are you still running the Shift Power throttle controller? Are you happy with it? I'm very happy with it. I still actually have it installed on the Tacoma. I need to take it off before I sell it. And I also still have it on the 4Runner, and it's been working really well on the 4Runner. Haven't had any issues with it. I've actually had to turn it down on the Tacoma because once I took all the weight off the Tacoma, the skid plates, the bed rack, the deck system, the rooftop tent, like all the weight that's just come off the Tacoma, it was a little punchy. So like I would accelerate with the Tacoma, it's like, like it goes up a little bit. But yeah, I've had no issues with the Shift Power stuff at all. It's been very good on the 4Runner. I'm curious if I turn it off, like just how laggy the throttle will be. Maybe I'll see if my wife noticed. Maybe I'll turn it off on her, and if she just like, oh, the 4Runner's laggy, then I'll be like, it's doing someone. Someone is going to sandwich a 4.0 liter into that hybrid powertrain. I don't know how they do it. There's a lot of technology going on for sure. William says, I saw something on your IG story about some kind of cleaner or preserver for the TRD Pro wheels, but I didn't catch what brand. So that is from Chemical Guys, my little detailing cabinet, and it's this matte detailer spray and sealant. So it works pretty good. Other people replied back to my story and said that there's better brands out there. So I mean, just shop around. Like, this works for me. Those wheels were very bad on that truck. Like that I bought those wheels on Facebook Marketplace. They're pretty bad. So it didn't clean up the best. Like, that matte detail spray is great for wheels that have been taken care of, like my 4Runner, or the matte black wheels of the RRWs and stuff, like if you stay on top of it, it's great because it's a good sealant. It's not the best for cleaning, but it is good for sealing and making stuff nice and good. Vince says, I'm glad that I got my hands on a 5th gen 4Runner. In 2022, I have a 23 4Runner TRD Pro. 6th gen might have problems. Hopefully no problems, though. Hopefully no problems at all. We shall see, though. And nothing's going to be perfect, right? But hopefully, the 4Runner is very iconic. The 4Runner is very iconic. Same with the Land Cruiser. And the Land Cruiser is going global. So we shall see. Moto says that I had a deposit on a 24 OffRoad Premium Tacoma, but with the cost approaching $56,000, I switched to an OffRoad Premium 4Runner at $2,500 under MSRP. I also got in Solar Octane. Heck yeah, man. And you're going to love the 4Runner. You know, it's not going to be as new as a Tacoma, but it'll still be great. Fatty says, have you ever done PPF or ceramic coat on any of your vehicles, or would you rather save that money? Personally, I'd rather save the money. In the future, for vehicles, when I get to the point of collecting vehicles and not exchanging them for content, I would definitely look more into ceramic coating. And that's not saying that I don't care about the vehicles I own, like the Tundra and the Tacoma, but they do have a limited shelf life on the channel. The 4Runner, I have honestly thought about getting it paint corrected and ceramic coated, which I may treat myself and do. I may do, if I plan on keeping this 4Runner forever, I'm going to do a PDR, paintless dent repair on the 4Runner, because it does have some dents. I'll probably take off the front bumper and rear bumper and repaint them because they have some scratches on them that you guys can never see on camera. And same with the driver's door. There's some scratches on it. But maybe see how good the detailer can work out those. Get it fully paint corrected and then ceramic coated. This is the only vehicle I have that I would do that for. Now, I have done it, though, on my last Tundra, and I need to do it on the current Tundra that I have and do the windshield. The windshield, and I should do it with new wheels that I put on vehicles, just do a quick ceramic coat. But on my last Tundra, I polished the windshield because the truck sat outside. This truck now, unfortunately, sits outside as well. And rainwater, and here in Florida, like, it's not like super, super hard, but it is kind of hard water. And then, you know, when you don't wash the vehicle for like 3 weeks or a month, I think the last time I washed that Tundra now was probably 2 months ago because I've just been so busy and it sucks. There is a good amount of sealant of wax on that truck, but not like ceramic. But anyways, I ceramic coated the windshield, and that's the best freaking thing ever, man. If you can do that to a vehicle, ceramic coat the windshield, that is so amazing, because like when you drive in rain, you barely need to turn the windshield wipers on because all the water just rushes off the windshield. So right now the windshield's pretty bad. We were driving and it was raining the other day, and the windshield wipers would go and you could still see some etchedness of water, and it makes it really hard to see at nighttime, especially because I'm like freaking going blind. So I would 100% recommend windshields of any vehicles get ceramic coated, and you could do that yourself, and it's not that hard to do. You don't have to pay someone for it unless you want to, if you have the means to do it. But the only vehicle I would ever consider getting ceramic coated is the 4Runner, and maybe wrapped as well with a ceramic coat on top of it. I think that's a little bit overkill if it's a mall crawler. But yeah, it would definitely be that 4Runner. And then in the future, you know, if I get to that point where I want to be and I have like the LFA, because that's on my vision board, an LFA, I'd ceramic coat the crap out of that. I would drive the piss out of that car though, and not just be like the LFA that I saw at Barrett Jackson that only have 400 miles on it. What a shame that is, because those cars sound so good. I would drive that car, yeah, it would definitely get the PPF and the ceramic coat on that. Any like sports car, I would probably do like some sort of clear bra, at least on the front, depending on how long I keep it and stuff. But yeah, I exchange vehicles out. Like I try to keep them about a year, is what I'd like to do with this YouTube. I know there's other people that do cars for a couple months here and there. I would like to get to the point where I do like build series on the channel, and then I'm able to like give them away if we could do that like more routinely and stuff, and position myself to do that. But I wouldn't spend the $4,000 or $5,000 to get something, you know, wrapped every time, especially if I know it's only going to be there for about a year or so. that's also why too, and I keep going on these random tangents, but that's also why too, I don't think that I'm gonna buy the new Tacoma. I think I'm gonna lease it, and for the sole fact that I may only have it for like 4 or 5 months, because of the TRD Pros coming. And we'll just see how the Toyota Tacoma just ends up being, right? But I may just lease it. That way I only pay taxes on the monthly payments versus, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 of taxes or however much it's gonna be up front. And I don't think that truck's gonna go down too much in value in 4 to 5 months if I trade it in for a Tacoma on the lease. So I'm working with our accountant on that, and which my wife's supposed to email today, and if she's listening to the live stream, she probably didn't. So need to email them on that, and then I did also email the dealership asking how a lease term would work with this new Tacoma. But anyways, Mike says, I heard somewhere else that the bar-looking strip on the back of the camouflage vehicle in the spy photos is just reflective tape that they put there on pre-production test vehicles. So I did just go over that as well, and if you weren't in here, totally cool, Mike. But I was thinking that as well. For DOT standards, that full vehicle is completely wrapped like crazy. So hopefully it is that as well, because we did see some weird little reflectors on the side at like a 45-degree angle. So hopefully that's the case, because I don't like that for the 4Runner. The 4Runner just needs to say 4Runner in the back in the same way that the 5th gen has and all the other Toyotas before it. I really hope Toyota doesn't mess this vehicle up, guys. I'm so excited for it, but like freaking nervous at the same time, right? Because they could either like knock it out of the freaking park grand slam, or it could be like a home run, or you could be hit by a pitch. Like I don't know. Man, I'm so pumped, but like so nervous. And like the Tacoma gives me hope. The Tacoma gives me extreme hope for the 4Runner, just like how thought out that truck was and just everything about it. And I know that elements of that team were also working Land Cruiser and also working 4Runner and stuff, right? Like it's elements of those teams work all these vehicles, the body on frame Toyota vehicles and the powertrains and stuff. So elements of those teams work it. So hopefully there was some crossover, the good crossover from the Tacoma. What do you recommend for a front bug deflector on the 4Runner? So I believe mine is ABS, and I like that one on my 4Runner. I couldn't imagine my 4Runner weirdly without a bug deflector, and I think the reason for that is because my 2nd gen 4Runner that I had, it had a bug deflector on it, and I'm not sure why, but like it just fits it. A bug deflector just fits the 4Runner. And I think it's just because the 4Runner is just old, right? And it's just this old school style of vehicle. And I'm curious how a bug deflector will look on the new one, because if they go a little bit more edgy with it, right? But mine, I'm like 98% sure it's AVS. I have a video on it. If you just type in Tier D John bug deflector, I show you the whole install and stuff for the 4Runner. But yeah, I haven't taken mine off. There isn't a scratch like under the hood or anything like that. I've looked and stuff. But yeah, I honestly forgot that it was on there until your comment, just because it looks so natural with it, you know? Bobby says, do you think that they are going to put that ugly, what? Do you think they're going to put that ugly badging in front of the passenger? I don't know what you mean. Don't know what you mean, Mr. Bobby. If you're still in here, hopefully you are. That question was a little bit old, but I'm not sure what you mean by that. Hey, John, we somehow have to stop the curve with dealership markups on these new Tacomas. It'll stop once they get a bunch out there. Literally right now, dealerships are taking advantage of supply and demand. It's not all dealerships. The dealership I'm getting mine from is MSRP. Panama City Beach Toyota's MSRP. The No Markups Toyota page on Facebook, I see in there at least 1 or 2 posts a day about Tacomas coming in that are at MSRP. So guys, don't have blinders, please, of dealerships at MSRP. Open your eyes a little bit wider. Do some researching. You may have to go out of your little town or city or whatever that you're in to find these trucks and stuff. Do a little bit of homework, you know. But yeah, dude, literally just go onto the Facebook, No Markup Toyota, and I see it all the time of like every week or every day. Can I present something from... No, I can't. I can't do it from Safari right now. But yeah, just look there, man. I mean, dealerships are going to take advantage of it, at least right now, for the early adopters and stuff. But once there's hundreds of thousands of those trucks out there, like Toyota plans to do every single year, there, especially if rates are super high, there's no reason at all to be paying over MSRP. I mean, the Tundra right now, right? It's in its third model year, and people are getting them for $5,000-$6,000 under MSRP. Hallow says, hey, John, any more recent news about MPG on the hybrid Tacomas? Pretty much waiting for that. Thank you as always. Nothing yet, but we should know in April. All that information is going to come out on the Tacoma hybrids pricing and MPGs around April timeframe, which I'm super pumped to give you guys. Not that this matters, and I can say it because it's not driving impressions. And again, it's a prototype, so I'm not sure if there's computer wonkiness going on. But those Tacomas that they were ripping on the whole time at Barrett-Jackson, like it was reading at 7 miles per gallon. Now, I'm not sure if it's just like that's the lowest the truck can say that it's at, but they're just ripping those trucks the whole time, and it said 7 miles per gallon when I looked over at the gauge cluster. Now, again, I don't know if the truck won't go below that or something like that in the computer of a pre-production. I have no idea. But that's kind of cool that they're just ripping the piss out of that truck, just lap after lap after lap after lap, jumping it, flooring it, drifting it. And it said 7 miles per gallon, which isn't that bad. It's like 7.1 or 7.2 or something like that. When you lift a Tacoma with a multi-terrain monitor, does the lift require the monitor to be adjusted or recalibrated? If it's going to be anything like the Tundra, I don't think so. It may be a tad bit off, but it'll still read everything and it'll still stitch everything together. My Tundra's lifted about 3 inches, 3.5 inches, and well, actually probably 5 inches with the tires, maybe even 6, Jesus. And I didn't have to recalibrate my stuff. My Tundra is lifted up a little bit too high though, to the point where the radar cruise control, it says that it's blocked sometimes because it's just lifted up a little bit too high. But hopefully when I downgrade to 35-inch tires, if I do that for that truck, if I have it long enough, then it should get a little bit better with that. That would be my only concern when lifting the Tacoma is going to be your radar cruise control. Norman says, hey, John, glad to see you post about the covered possible 6th Gen 4Runner. Do you think that the 6th Gen looks to have a rear roll-down window? Because so far it looks possible. I am team roll-down window all day for the new 4Runner. There's been quite a few, not journalists, but 4Runner rumors people or Toyota rumors people or just car rumors people that have said that it's going to go away. I am team it staying because it is a staple feature for the 4Runner, and I don't see why they would get rid of it. It would be absolutely crazy. Vince says he's ceramic coated his 4Runner both inside and out, which you can do. You guys can ceramic coat the inside of a vehicle, which that is definitely protecting it from anything. Will it still be made in Japan? What are you hearing? I am hearing yes. I am hearing that it will still be made in Japan from certain rumors. And people who have talked to people who have talked to people, right? It's a telephone game, so nothing official yet, but just there's no capacity really at Mexico to my knowledge. I don't see them building it in San Antonio alongside the Tundra and Sequoia. I mean, if they do, I'd honestly rather the truck be built in Mexico, really. It's just, I feel like the Tacomas that come out of Mexico are a little bit more put together, I guess, than maybe it's just the Tundra and Sequoia. I don't know. It just seems like they have a lot more cheaper materials. And we'll see, because we haven't seen a fully done up production model of a Tacoma yet. And in all honesty, I haven't watched any of TFL's videos or other people's videos that have gotten the Tacoma yet. I haven't had the time. Since I've gotten back, it's fixing the house up, cleaning stuff up, playing with the dogs, getting caught up on my own YouTube stuff and other work stuff, real estate stuff. I haven't had the time to just sit down and watch other people's videos. And then Saturday when we got back Friday, super late at night. And then our friend that was watching the dogs and stuff, we had a couple last shots of tequila and stuff with him. He's like, oh shoot, that's good. So, and then we just talked a little bit, fell asleep, probably woke up at 11 o'clock on Saturday. and because the vacation was with my wife's family for her mom's birthday, but it was still a good, relaxing vacation. We were both, I think, just like peopled out and just everything. And like, I don't like wasting a day of life, but we literally just, I was like, we're not doing anything today. Like, we're just gonna sit on the couch, watch TV, and like hang out with the dogs. We did go for a walk with the dogs, and they needed that. Like, they ran the golf course and everything. They're tackling each other and stuff. But we literally didn't do anything Saturday. Started cleaning up the house and everything on Sunday. Went to the grocery store, did that again yesterday to get back into the diet and the routine and everything. So anyways, what I'm getting at is, holy crap, what a freaking tangent, Devin. What the frick? We haven't seen a Tacoma yet fully done up, right? And fully built out. I need to watch TFL's videos because they have one, and a couple other people have one and that have done walkarounds and stuff, but not, the best quality like TFL does. And then the Tundra and Sequoia, like my Tundra's good, and the Sequoia I had was good, but wasn't like exceptional. And then a 4Runner that's made in Japan is just so much better, right? So my Tacoma outside that was built in Mexico, I know that it is solid. It's great. I haven't had any issues with it. It is an older vehicle, but the materials and the fit and finish on it is almost as good as my 4Runner. And I know that it's better than my Tundra that I have outside too. So if the 4Runner is going to not be built in Japan, I really hope that it is built in Mexico. I don't know about America unless it's like a different plant, like maybe the plant in Indiana, I think the Grand Highlander is Indiana, but I don't see why a body on frame truck would just randomly be in Indiana. Yeah, anyways, whatever. But I hope that it's still going to be made in Japan, right alongside the Land Cruiser and right alongside the GX. And then Rick does say, yep, the AVS bug deflector as well. Mine is not the Low Pro. They have a smaller version of that. But yeah. John, do you recommend any brands as far as ceramic coating? I don't even know the ceramic coating brand that I have. I think it's like X Shield or something like that. But there's tons out there. I think my next batch of detailing products that I'm going to get will either be Griots or Ammo NYC. So Ammo NYC is a YouTube channel, and it's this gentleman named Larry based out of, I believe he's in New York. And he just always uses his products. And granted, he's a great detailer, and I haven't looked at the prices yet. But all of his stuff just seems to work, and he makes videos using his stuff. So there's some chemical guy stuff that I've used that's been absolute garbage, and other stuff that I've used that I was like, wow, this stuff's actually really, really good. There's been some Griot stuff that I've used that hasn't been the best. There's been other Griot stuff that's been absolutely amazing. Kemchi Chemicals or Kemki Chemicals. A guy gave me that stuff at SEMA like 2 years ago, and that stuff has been so good, but like it's like the next level of detailing stuff. I've used some Meguiar stuff. It's been okay. Other Meguiar stuff has been great. And there was another detailer company out there. They've kind of fallen off. I've wanted to try their stuff. I can't remember the name of them. But I would just look up ceramic coating. There's so many good ones. And chemical guys, they have their own ceramic coating. I've personally never used them. So yeah. All right, so last bit of questions, guys. We've been on for about an hour and a half. We usually go about 2 hours, but I could see that the questions are slowing down, so it's all good, and I'm all for that. So we don't need to go 2 hours every single time. But holy crap, dude, my allergies lately. So in Mexico, we were right on the beach, right? I mean, I live very, very close to the beach here. But I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just because it stays that temperature almost year round, and then it heats up in the summertime. But my allergies like totally went away. And then we came back here, and the freaking pollen is all over the place here right now. And I could just feel it in my throat by sitting in my garage, because I've had the garage open all day too, because wife was working out, and then I was cleaning up the garage. But holy crap. I hate taking medicine, so I don't want to take more allergy medicine, but I am like dying. Rolo Cycle says, what are your thoughts on the Land Cruiser? I like it. I can't wait to drive it. I love the interior of the Land Cruiser. I like the interior, I feel like, a little bit more than the GX, but I do like the 14-inch screen on the GX and the powertrain of the GX. But like the size of it's great. I'm just super interested to see how that hybrid system one performs for miles per gallon. Excuse me, and how punchy it is for that SUV. But I like it. I like it, and I have high hopes for it. Colin says, I just saw your videos. I like them a lot. I have a question on the 4th gen Lil B bumper. Do you have an install video? I just saw the one, or I just saw the same one. I just bought the same one for my 03. Dude, I can't remember. That was, man, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But thank you for watching the videos. I know we have a whole playlist on that vehicle, and they're old, so I don't know like the quality of content that it's gonna be, because that was like 3, 4 years ago. So if you guys are new to the channel and don't know, I did one giveaway in the past. I did a giveaway with Yoda Mafia. They're super local to me. We gave away a insanely clean V8 4th gen 4Runner. We built it up with like a lift kit, bigger tires, wheels, rooftop tent, rigged ultra swing in the back, a Lil B front bumper. It was pretty cool. I learned a lot from that giveaway on how that we would do stuff different in the future. But I can't remember if when we did the lift kit on that, if we also did the front bumper, or if Yoda Mafia did that content for the front bumper. I honestly can't remember, Colin. But that was such a cool experience, man. It was so cool. Yeah, I definitely want to do something like that again. But I can't remember if I did a dedicated install video. James says, I have a 2020 TRD Off-Road Premium in white. It came with this nasty paint protection on the hood. It's gross looking now. Anyone else have that issue? So yeah, so that probably came with some Toyota Guard cheap, horrible film. I would heat it up with a heat gun if you can and just take it off. And if you don't trust yourself, I would look up a local recommended detailer in your area or a mobile detailing company, and they should be able to take that off for you and then polish up your hood and most likely your front fender right here, because it probably comes down like in the front right there just a little bit as well. And they could like clay bar it, polish it up, maybe just do a nice quick wax on the whole vehicle and blend it all together, because the paint may have a little bit of a difference between when you take that off and the paint underneath of it as well. But yeah, we had it on my wife's RAV4. It was the whole hood and not just like the front of it. And you said yours is on the hood, so it may be the whole hood. But her car was a beautiful blueprint color, and I love that car. We should have never freaking sold it. And it had that protective film on it as well. And no matter what I did to like clean it or wash it or try to like polish it off or clay bar the film, like it just had crap just embedded into it. And it was only like 2.5 years old, the car. And like it was garage kept, like I took care of it. So that, yeah, like whatever film Toyota puts on their vehicles, it's not the best. Like it's not self-healing at all. It definitely has no protective like layer or anything on it, because it just all gets embedded into it. I hope that they make the new 4Runner feel like a Highlander, techie and not rugged enough. Oh, they don't make it. Oh, thank God, Brand. I read that the wrong way. Yeah, I mean, at least from those leaked photos that we went over with, at least it looks like a body-on-frame vehicle. Mike says, I think Bobby is referring to the badging on the new Tacoma, like above the glove box. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, that would look kind of bad on the 4Runner if it just said 4Runner across it right there. I agree with that. Maybe a little bit more subtle like the Sequoia, but I do hope that it has a shelf right there. I'm a big fan of shelves in vehicles for the passenger. I got you. Thanks, Mike. John says, hey, John, do you think that the next-gen 4Runner will also offer a full-time four-wheel drive system like the current version? I 100% think it will. It may not be on the TRD... No, TRD Sport, you could get it in a two-wheel drive, and it's only on the Limited. I 100% think it will, and it will most likely only be on the Limited, just like the Tacoma does. There may be two versions of the Limited. It may have a iForce Max version that is 100% full-time four-wheel drive, just like the Tacoma, and or a full-time four-wheel drive, and because that's only available on the hybrid Tacoma. So yeah, so I definitely think it will, and that'll be like the same platform that the Land Cruiser is. Adam says that the new 4Runner will definitely still be made in Japan. All right, so we're team still made in Japan, and we're team rear roll down window. That is what we're going for as the 2 guarantees for the new 6th gen 4Runner. And hopefully we're all right in this chat. Koya says, do you think that the 4Runner will look like a Sequoia or a Land Cruiser? I hope that it doesn't look like either of them. I really hope, and I said this in my expectations video, I really hope that the 4Runner is its own. The 4Runner is an iconic nameplate for Toyota, and I don't want it to be a carbon copy of the Tacoma like the Sequoia is for the Tundra. I like the looks of the Sequoia, I really do. It looks different than the Tundra in some regards, but the inside is literally the same. It is literally the same vehicle on the inside. The front doors, same mirrors. The front end of the Sequoia does look a little bit better than the Tundra, I will admit. And then the back end, I do like the Sequoia too. But like, aside from that, it is literally a carbon copy. And I know that there's gonna be parts of the 4Runner that are the exact same as the Land Cruiser and the exact same as the Tacoma, right? Like all the underpinnings and stuff, the TNGF platform, powertrain options and stuff. But man, I just really hope that it has some distinguishing features to differentiate itself on the inside than the Tacoma. And I know it'll look different, but I just really hope that it really separates itself on the inside, and that Toyota just doesn't take the easy way out, like to save money and make money, which I think they will, and just like make it the exact same as the Tacoma. I would personally rather it look more like the Land Cruiser on the inside, maybe with like the 12.3-inch screen, although I love that 14-inch screen, but just like be a little bit different. I just really hope it's a little bit different. Devin says, I meant the 4Runner when I asked whether or not it would be made in Japan still. Sorry. All good. Yes, we are definitely team Japan over here. I really hope so. Omar says, are we getting a new Highlander, like a capstone version soon? I'm not sure yet, and I think that's what you mean by capstan version, like capstone version. The Highlander is a really weird vehicle because the Grand Highlander, in my opinion, is just so much better than the Highlander. Like, not that the Highlander is bad, it's just depending on and I know it's another model year now, and I haven't looked at MSRP on how much a Grand Highlander has jumped up in price, but like, if I was in the market for it, I would probably try to spend a little bit more money on a Grand Highlander. So I'd be really curious to see where the Highlander is for the next model in a couple years, and what Toyota decides to do with that. And also like with the new RAV4, like if it gets bigger and kind of grows into the Highlander size, like what they'll actually do with the normal Highlander. But as far as like a capstone version, I mean, Highlander has the Platinum, and that pretty much has everything that you could really want in it. So I'm not sure what else that they would put into it. Elder says, before your vacation, we were talking about the future of your channel and a possibility of a real estate channel as well. I watched a video about, I just watched a new video about the Apple Vision Pro. Dude, that Apple Vision Pro is actually it's kind of wild. Like, it's actually kind of wild, that Apple Vision Pro. I'm not into VR or anything like that, but I think that it would be really cool to have, but I'm not paying anywhere near $3,500 for that thing. I just bought this MacBook at like $3,000 or whatever, however much this MacBook was for this stuff. So that Vision Pro would be really wild though. It'd be really cool. But I don't know. It depends it depends if my wife and I start doing more stuff. I just don't feel like we do content. Like, a lot of our stuff is on autopilot right now. We're not focusing so much on that to where it would warrant like another channel. And like, we tried to do some videos and stuff with our other house, but like, we just wanted it to get done and ready to rent on Airbnb. I mean, I post some stuff on Instagram about it all the time, like whenever we go and check on a property and whatnot. But I think like the biggest thing will be moving down to the Tampa area, and maybe we'll document that a little bit as well. And if we get a fixer-upper house down there, then 100%, that would probably be the good start of the channel to do that. Dude, there was there was a pretty cool house in a neighborhood, and we're not even going to look in this area anymore, but we were looking in Odessa, but we're actually going to be further south towards Bradenton area. But anyways, this house was sick, and it wasn't even a house. So it would have been amazing content because it was in this insane neighborhood, right? All these houses were $1.5 to $1.8 million. And you're like, holy shit, John, you have that much money? No, I don't. So the cool thing about this house was it was the clubhouse for that neighborhood. So, which is cool, but like all these $1.5, $1.7 million houses, they all have their own pools, right? So this clubhouse was not getting used at all. So the neighborhood homeowners association listed the clubhouse, so it has its own pool, and it has like this big giant opening, and like it looks like a clubhouse, right, in a nice neighborhood. And it was on like 1.4 acres. It had like its own parking lot. It had another grass patch down here. It had a big, sorry, you can't see my hands. It had a big tennis court and stuff. And I was just thinking, I was like, I could build a huge like 4-car garage with like a loft over it on the tennis courts, and then I would have my own parking lot as a round driveway, and then we would transform the house. Like after you build the garage, you renovate the house in the backyard. I was like, how sick would this be for content? And as I said, that neighborhood was a $1.5 to $1.7 million neighborhood, and they were selling that clubhouse and all the land within that neighborhood for like $600,000. So I was like, that is like the best way to get into the best neighborhood. And like, that's the whole philosophy of real estate. Buy the ugliest house in the best neighborhood, fix it up, and you'll make your return. I was like, this is so freaking cool. I need to see what it's sold at, or even if it's sold. I mean, it was on the market for like 200 plus days. But like, yeah, it was so cool. And it would have been the perfect way to start making real estate content, but that would have been a lot of work for sure. Elder also says, do you think you will be utilizing the Vision Pro in your videos? No, not at all. Unless you send me one, bro, to a P.O. box, I will not be utilizing a Vision Pro. Cali Raised and them, I just collaborated on a post with them on Instagram, and they had a Vision Pro, and they're like turning a whole Tacoma around and like zooming in on a Tacoma. It was actually pretty cool to see that. James says, cool, John, just noticed your mountain bikes in the background. I have a Trek Pro Caliber 9.6. So mine are just like not insane mountain bikes. They're just Giants and whatever the female version is of Giants. And mine's a 29er, no full suspension, anything crazy. And then we have the paddle boards right above that. Very excited when we move down to Tampa, though, to use them more, because Florida, we don't have crazy mountains here, clearly. But it is, it's more of like a biking park that they have out there to go do stuff, and more lakes and stuff to paddleboard in. I just can't wait to do all that stuff. Colin says, all good, appreciate the advice, sweet vids. Thank you, dude. Kodiak says, hey, how's it going, man? Welcome to the live stream. Says, hey, John, what do you think of the OTT tune for the 3rd gen Tacoma? I'm thinking about getting it for my 2020 Tacoma. That is one thing that I regret not doing. So I am all for it. Every single post I've seen about it, every single person that has done it, every single person that has told me to do it swears by it. So that is probably one of the things that I can recommend you do that I have never done. So I'm all for it. I definitely regret not doing it on my Tacoma. I didn't see the need to do mine just because I didn't drive my truck that much, and I live in flat Florida. But I 100% recommend it. I have a friend of mine who does live in Florida, and he just bought a lifted Tacoma, and he just pulled the trigger on it. He's like, this is the best money I've ever spent on a Tacoma. So I highly recommend it, just based on what people have said. So 50 plus people, they all can't lie to me. So I feel like the OTT tune is going to be good for that. Brand says, if the new 4Runner is made in Japan, I have to trade my Army Green one in for it. I think that would be a big factor for a lot of people with it being made in Japan. I mean, because if it loses the V6, if it's made somewhere else, like it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers of people instead of just a couple. Dean says, I just jumped in. Do we think that we know the new price point for the 4Runner, given the Land Cruiser is more reasonably priced? I think that the new 4Runner will maybe only be a couple thousand more, hopefully, than where it's at. Maybe it'll start at like 45, like 10 10-ish thousand under the Land Cruiser, which even the Land Cruiser starts at like 8,000-9,000 under the Sequoia, because I think the Sequoia starts in like the high 50s or 60s. No, I think the Sequoia, what does the Sequoia start at, guys? Sequoia SEQ 2024. What does the Sequoia start at? From 61,000. So the 4Runner may start at like 46 to 47. Someone did in this chat say 47,000 starting price for the 4Runner. That may make sense if they're about $5,000 to $6,000 apart. The Land Cruiser is going to start in mid 50s, hopefully like 54. So the Sequoia starts at 62, so that's about $7,000 difference. So hopefully the 4Runner, it really starts at around 45 to 47 or so. I really want it to stay mid 40s. Chris says that I'm Canadian and I know you can't do anything like that with an HOA. HOAs are the worst, I hear. Dude, you have to have some HOA neighborhoods in Canada. If not, then that's glorious. But yeah, HOAs suck, man. They're good because they keep the neighborhood nice. But at the same time, they are a little bit annoying. I personally haven't had any issues with our HOA here. They let us park our trucks outside. I mean, it is a nicer neighborhood, but there is this one neighborhood that we were looking at down in the Tampa area, and super nice neighborhood. I really like the houses in it, and there are some fixer-uppers in the neighborhood. Again, another high 800 to like $1.4 million neighborhood, but I've seen some houses that need a good amount of work listed in that neighborhood for like 400,000. So again, got to put some elbow grease into it, but it makes the house that much nicer, and you get to put your own flair and stuff onto it. But we were reading some of the HOA documents on some of these houses that were listed in there, and all of them were the same. You can't park a truck in your driveway overnight. What the frick, dude? So you can't park your truck in the driveway overnight. It doesn't say anything else about any other cars. Other cars can be outside in the driveway, right? So like if I wanted my 4Runner outside, I could have it outside. If I wanted a beat up freaking Honda Civic outside, I could leave that outside. But a $70,000 Tundra Platinum? No way, dude. That has to go into the garage. So HOAs have some dumb rules sometimes, and they apparently they tried to like stop that in some of the HOA meetings, I guess, because one of the houses said that because they know that's a deterring factor for some people. But like in a neighborhood like that where the caliber of houses are pretty up there in price, I don't think that it's going to be like, you know, a bad truck that is sitting outside. It's going to most likely be a platinum Ford F350 that's like $100,000 or whatever their highest brand of trucks is or models. It's like, or a high country Silverado or a Denali Ultimate or whatever. So it's just, I don't know, man. I don't like HOAs for that factor when they're like over the top about things. What's up, Ryan? We are just talking and we're almost about to get off. So if you have any questions or if anyone else has any other questions, go ahead and fire them into the chat real quick. But vacation was good, bro. Starting back up with the content. We're talking about HOAs and just all this random BS. We've gotten to the point in the live stream where we're just BSing now. We covered the 4Runner quite a bit earlier, and then we also watched a little bit of Jeff Westcott's video on the new Tacoma. James asks, are you on Facebook, Instagram, or X? Can we add you as a friend? I am on Facebook and Instagram as TRD John, and I try to answer back all my DMs there, or you can email me at bluetrdjohn@gmail.com, but I don't add people onto my personal pages at all. It's just the business page, I guess. Sometimes if I meet people in person and we become friends, right? Like Toyota Jeff, you know, I've added him on, actually, I don't think I follow Jeff on Facebook, but it's personal and stuff, you know, I do on Instagram, and he follows my personal on Instagram, and just other people too that like I've met and you talk to a couple times and then a couple more times and then you text and you're like, okay, this person's cool. And then you add them. But yeah, I'm on normal Facebook. and I'm on normal Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I tried Threads, but that was like the biggest, quickest fail like ever. And not that I don't like Twitter or X or anything like that. I just never did it. I don't know what I would post there that I wouldn't just post on my story real quick on Instagram or as a post on Instagram to show you guys. So Super says that I am more excited for the Land Cruiser FJ. Oh, Jeff Westcott's actually calling me right now. See, like Jeff Westcott, I've added him on Facebook and we're friends on Facebook because we talk all the time. But I will call him back real quick. Just let him know that we got about 5 more minutes on the live stream. 5 to 10 minutes on a live stream. Maybe he saw the live stream. He's like, what are you showing my truck for? That's cool. Chris says that I have Instagram. I'm not sure if they are as bad, though. I don't have, yeah. So, like, I mean, X is just kind of, I don't know. And Twitter, I just, like I said, I don't know what else I would put on there that that I wouldn't put on Instagram stuff. Yeah, bro, it's 2024, and with everything going on, like my truck can identify as whatever the frick it wants, right? And that's just the crazy thing too. Is like, why would an HOA say like you can't have a nice truck like in your driveway? I mean, not that I think that my truck is the best looking truck ever, but it's a pretty nice freaking truck, and like it looks really good. Why can't that now? Like, I understand if it's like a work truck and stuff and it has like mud all over it and everything, but like, dude, it's a pretty nice neighborhood. Like, why would you not allow it to be in the neighborhood? Like, even in my neighborhood, there's some people with some cars that I'm just kind of like, dude, do you really have to have that car in the driveway? But you know, I'm not judgmental, but I'm just kind of like, I hope you're working hard and you can get like a car wash or something. Like, it's just crazy, you know? Daniel says, John, where is a good place to find these fixer-uppers? So depending on where you live, you can look for investment companies in your area, or they're called like wholesale companies. So wholesaling companies, basically what they do, wholesaling companies is they will cold call and send emails and letters and all this stuff to people, right, to try to buy their house. Like, if you've ever seen those signs of like, we buy houses cash or this or that, 9 times out of 10 is a wholesale company. It may also be like an actual legitimate person that just wants to do their own stuff, but 9 times out of 10 it's a wholesale company. And what they are doing is they are buying someone, and this is for you guys as well that are maybe in a situation where you just want to sell your house cash, but they are a company that will purchase your house for, let's say, $150,000 because your house needs some work, right? And they know that that house, when it's all fixed up, may be worth $300,000. So what they're going to do is they're going to take your house at $150,000, put it on this website, right? And put it out there to all their investors saying, hey guys, investor special, we got a house that's, you know, ARV, which stands for after repair value. It's like $300,000. This house can be yours, assigned to you for $170,000. And you're like, wow, $170,000, got to close on that, blah, 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 fix it up, blah, 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 all this stuff. You're factoring all your costs. You're like, I can make 20 grand in like 6 months, whatever. So, or however long, that would actually be a pretty crappy return. But if you have volume like that, then who cares? So all they're doing is like finding the property, doing all the back end work, and then assigning it to you. They make a quick $20,000 or whatever just because they did all the upfront work and marketing and stuff. So like, that is the best way to find good investment properties, is just literally going onto these websites in your areas of just investors, and they just have these houses that you can either buy from them, or just literally, if you really want to, also just go into nicer neighborhoods in your area, or like maybe not like super rich neighborhoods, but maybe middle of the road, like, which is crazy, but middle of the road is like 300 to 500 now, right? At least in my area. just drive through those neighborhoods, and 9 times out of 10, you will find a house in those neighborhoods that the grass looks like shit. There may be algae on the, depending on where you live, there may be algae or dust or just dirt like on the walls of the house. In my area too, like a lot of people have screens over their pools. They may have like algae on it or vines growing all over their screens. It's a good indicator that unfortunately it's either an elderly person that can't take care of their stuff anymore, or it's someone that may be working real hard and they can't keep up on their house. So that's where you come in and you say, hey, like, do you want out of this house? Like, is it bad on the inside? And that's a way to find a home that may need some work. You help out that person, because not all wholesalers and people are pieces of crap. You help out that person by giving them cash up front, hopefully allowing them to get out of a bad situation, right? Just because they don't have the time to list their house, talk to realtors, all this other crap, and they'd be losing money with a realtor anyways, like if they sold it, right? So it's like, hey, this is your cash price. You can close on this house in like 30 days, and then you just do your own thing. So there's tons of ways to go about it. I mean, yeah, you could use those websites. You could drive your own neighborhoods too, knock on people's doors, tons of stuff. I feel like I talked about that for a while. I don't even know what time it is. Hallow says, my girlfriend's dad lives in West Palm Beach, and there is a community that you can't park a truck outside overnight either. So stupid. But I'm sure, Hallow, that the houses in that area are freaking stunning, right? And like everything in that neighborhood probably looks super, super clean. It is super stupid though, because you could park like a car, like I said, like a Volkswagen Jetta. Not that that's a bad car, but like it's not as nice as a $100,000 Ford F-350 Platinum, right? It's just, you could park that outside, but you can't park the more expensive trucks outside. Which, so for me too, like the house that we were looking in that neighborhood, and other ones too, like I may still pull the trigger in that neighborhood. I don't know, depending on like the price, right? But like a lot of the houses in that neighborhood have oversized garages. So they're like 25-foot garages. I could put a truck in there, no problem. I don't care. But the problem ends up being when my garage is full of my own vehicles, right? And then I get a press Tundra or a press vehicle Tacoma or whatever from Toyota, and then the HOA is like, why is this truck in the neighborhood? Why is it on your driveway for a week? It's not mine, dude. Or like, even if family came to visit me in like a motorhome and just wanted to plug in at my house and visit for a week, they'd be on your butt there. They said maximum of 1 day of a motorhome. I'm like, that's not even enough to like get your motorhome out of storage, bring it to your house, pack it all up for your vacation. Like minimum, you always have a motorhome, at least when we were in California and going to the desert and stuff, and my parents would get our fifth wheel from the storage, and dude, it's minimum 2 days. Like you get it out, you get the bikes out, getting everything ready, mom has to load it up with all the food, then you get it back home, you have to clean it, and at like minimum 2 days. They're like 1 night for an RV. Like, come on, man. That neighborhood's getting me riled up. Never mind, I'm not doing it. Have you heard of the villages near Wildwood? Freaking crazy. I live near there. So the only villages I've heard of is like that Lufa swingers neighborhood. I'm not sure if that's the villages, but they like do stuff with the loofahs, and like certain colors mean certain things of what like couples are into. I'm not sure if that's the villages, but if you're saying it's freaking crazy, then that may be it. I do know that there's those type of neighborhoods and stuff everywhere, but I do know one is very prominent in Florida. Ryan says that I have a wheel bearing to replace this weekend on my Tacoma. Fun times. Bro, the fact that you can like work on your truck like that is so awesome though. So it's going to be fun times. It's going to be annoying. I'm sure stuff may get thrown or a beer may get cracked, but like open. But enjoy it. Like that's so cool. I want to get to that point where I have, you know, not the time, but just like the desire to just do a project like that or just anything, which would be awesome. Pro Outdoor says, I'm late to the party. Did you get to test out the iForce Max? How was it? Yes, that video will be going up this week. Insta, I got you, Chris. Sorry, I'm a little late getting to that message. That video will go up later this week. The Tacoma is awesome. Weirdly, I like the 4Runner more on that same off-road course just because it's a 4Runner. It was so solid and everything. But the Tacoma, man, dude, that little iForce Max in that truck is going to be powerful. It is so punchy, and those isodynamic seats just kept my head just so like a gimbal, right? Like you can see what Jace, he was behind me, which Jace, he's probably not in here right now in this chat, but ghosted TRD because his freaking butt got his Tacoma last night. He got a brand new Tacoma, but he was in the back seat for me filming in landscape, and you could see the isodynamic seats moving, and so that will all be in the video. Mike says, thanks, John. Appreciate the content. Have a good night. You as well, Mike. It's been 7 minutes since you posted that, so hopefully you're still in here. If not, adios, sir. Couple last questions, and then we will sign off for the night. Y. We'll just go with Y. Very unique name. Says, I really hope they do something special with the new 4Runner that's coming out. So far, it just looks like the Land Cruiser. Yeah, hopefully it will differentiate itself from the Land Cruiser and GX. I don't see it looking just like the Land Cruiser and the GX, because that would be 3 of the same vehicles, and then it would really be weird as to why Toyota has 3 of the same vehicles. I was really hoping that the Land Cruiser was going to come back as like a 70 series style vehicle, and the 4Runner and GX have always been very similar, and it's kind of strange that now the Land Cruiser fills that spot of what the 4Runner was, size-wise and stuff. It's a little bit bigger, but like they also grew the GX a little bit bigger. But it's just unique. I was really hoping that when they got rid of the Land Cruiser and they were coming back with it to be more of like a rugged off-roader. I think Toyota missed that opportunity. I really do. And then just make the 4Runner a little bit bigger and then have it be its own design from the GX as well. But I don't work for Toyota. I know that would have freaking been a home run for sure, but yeah. Super says that I'm hearing stuff about a GR Hilux, full-blown GR trim with a twin-turbo V6. So like the V6 twin-turbo Tacoma could actually be put into production. That would be wild. I have also, I have the new Land Cruiser 70 series pickup on order, but I'd snap a GR Hilux up in a heartbeat. Man, I would too. I would try to freaking somehow figure out how to get that to the United States so bad. I'm trying also to figure out how to get a 70 series to the United States, like one of the new 70 series. I love that vehicle. Like it was a little bit overshadowed, I feel, with the reveal of the 250 series, the Prado, like overseas. But the more videos that I watch on it, it is the perfect blend of old school and new school. I absolutely love it. So I'm trying to figure out how to get one of those here as either like a demo vehicle or something, like under some sort of, because Florida is very lax with import of vehicles, and it may cost a lot to get here. But I do have friends in Australia and friends overseas and stuff as well. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to do that. 4Runner may be a little smaller than Land Cruiser. I feel like it is. I feel like it may be very close to the same size as this one, maybe just a little bit taller and just a little bit longer of a wheelbase to allow for better seating on the inside. Daniel says maybe those HOAs are worried about trucks sticking out and blocking the sidewalks. So I would 100% say that would be a possibility, but a lot of those driveways in that neighborhood are big. They're very big driveways. Maybe if you have a bunch of cars, that could potentially be a thing. But a lot of those homes that we were looking at had U-shaped driveways, like the driveway that I have here at this house. So that's super, super good thought process on that one. But they are, like I said, it's one of those neighborhoods where you're just like, dang, this is awesome. And then, of course, you look for the low-hanging fruit of that neighborhood, but it still abides by the same HOAs, unfortunately. Saltwater Cowboy says, are you hoping for any new colors for the 4Runner? Great question, man. I hope that it honestly has bronze oxide. I think that bronze oxide would look dope on the 4Runner. I hope they carry over the trail dust color to the 4Runner. If it looks anything like the 5th gen, but a little bit sharper, like how they upgraded the Tacoma with Tacoma-ness, that was Toyota's phrase, to the 4th gen. Like when you look at a 3rd gen and a 4th gen side by side, you could just see the evolution of the Tacoma. If they do that with the 4Runner, that's like the home run for me. And the interior I can get over if it's like exactly like the Tacoma, because the interior of the Tacoma is honestly really good. But it would look dope in bronze oxide. It would look super good in the trail dust color, just with that yellow and everything with it. Everyone's been wanting a yellow for the 4Runner so bad. Supersonic red, I think will be there. I think we're going to get rid of Barcelona red. Supersonic red will take its spot, which I kind of like a little bit more than Barcelona red, just because it is more of a red than like a richer dark burgundy or a maroon. I think that color would look really good on it. And maybe just bring Heritage Blue over as well, like from the Land Cruiser, because I love my Cavalry Blue, and Heritage Blue is fairly similar to Cavalry Blue. And man, that on like a Tier D Pro or like a Tier D Off-Road Premium as like one of the first 4Runners would be awesome. It would be really cool. Other colors, of old, Toyota would be like a really nice green, like a mica. I forget what they called the mica green that was on the old Tacomas, but it was a very metallic-y green. I think that would look super good. The 4Runner can wear almost any color. Like even the Terra 4Runner that I saw, even though the Terra wasn't my favorite when I saw it, like it still looked good. Like the 4Runner can almost wear any color. And that's fairly true for almost all the generations. Sometimes the 4th gen looks a little wonky with certain colors. Like I've seen a 4th gen in Cavalry Blue before in cement. Like it just has to be done up. That's just unfortunately how the 4th gen is. It has to be done up. And then the 3rd generation 4Runner actually had a purple, like a dark purple. I think that would look really good on a 4Runner too. All right, last little bit of questions. I know I've said that a few times, but we have just hit the 2-hour mark. So James says, I would rather have my 2 acres of land and park my truck on it. The Villages is a retirement community. They're very strict there. Okay, so that's not the other one that I was thinking of then. But yeah, so that's the goal. If in Tampa, like when we eventually make our way down there, and if it is where we want to have our forever house at, like literally what we're looking at right now is an in-between of this house and what we had before this house. So looking to downsize a bit, and the reason for that is because in a year to 2 years, we want to just rent that house out. So we're trying to find a house that makes sense. And honestly, we're looking at like under 400,000, which would be incredible. Like that would be so good. So we just rent this house out here, move down there with literally no issues. And then in 2-ish years, like max, I would hope, rent that house out or sell that house if the market bounces back, and then just buy out there. Because there are some ranch areas out there in Bradenton, in what they call Wayaka, Florida, which is east of Bradenton a little bit, and also in the Parish area, where you could find amazing homes on like 5 acres, and you're still, which isn't a lot, but that's a lot compared to like what I am at now. But like have your own house on 5 acres. You're still like 45 minutes from the beach if you want. You're still 45 minutes from Tampa, 45 minutes from Sarasota, but you're away from it all on your 5 acres. So like that's the 3-year goal. You just have to get to that first step to make that happen, and it's just by getting down there. So I don't think the bougie HOA, no freaking truck in your driveway neighborhood's it, but like it would be cool to find a house in that neighborhood for like a third of the price and fix it up while we're down there. But I think like moving down there, getting all these cars from Toyota, events and stuff, it may just be easier to just have like somewhat relevant of a turnkey house, and then maybe have to do flooring and some paint and like a light little kitchen remodel and bathrooms versus a whole gut of a house, resurfacing pools, brand new roof, AC units, and all this stuff. Like that's a headache I don't want to get into. Andrew says, if you figure out how to get a 70 series into the United States, count me in. I like that blue that you have in the background. Man, Cavalry Blue, man, so good. Yeah, I'm going to work on that more, or even like a newer FJ Cruiser and stuff. Florida is pretty lax. Again, once I get down to the Tampa area, there are many import companies down there that manage stuff out of Tampa, out of Miami, and very few import companies that work in Orlando area as well. So just gonna go in there and just start BSing with people and just feeling people out and seeing where people are, you know. Any chance when you will be able to test the new Land Cruiser and possibly compare it to the GX? Despite the engine differences, I just want to see the differences and similarities between the two. April, I will be driving the new Land Cruiser in April, and I doubt that they'll have a GX there for us, but hopefully, if the world works the way I hope it works, we will have a Land Cruiser on the channel, and then I will be able to do that video for you guys when I get a GX as a press vehicle. So I will own either one of the two. I'll either own a GX or I'll either own a Land Cruiser, and then get the other one as a press vehicle to literally compare them side by side. Just do that side by side video, that drive by side video with them too, like drive one back to back and everything as well. Removable top and a manual trans. I think the manual trans may surprisingly make its way to the 4Runner, but I definitely do not see a removable top. Samuel says, thanks, John, for all the great work you put in the channel. Can't wait for the 6th gen 4Runner. Don't think I'll get rid of my 5th gen anytime soon, though. Yeah, don't get rid of the 5th gen. Let the 6th gen prove itself a little bit. And then once people start putting lifts and bigger tires on them, they're like, dang, this car looks good. That's when it will start to trigger people's minds to like, ooh, maybe I want a new one. Emerald green, 1st gen color would be good. Imperial Jade Mica. Thank you, Daniel. That is the name of it. It was green on later 3rd gens. I have one. Love it. I'd like to see Army green on a 6th gen. Army green's great. I do like Army green, but that Imperial Jade Mica is such a good color. Such a good color. Kay, how's it going? Says, greetings from SoCal. How was your Mexico trip? Still no word on my Land Cruiser deposit. Team 4Runner, what is up? That is awesome. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, the Land Cruiser hopefully will start getting more information. So they are going to make the first editions first for the first like month and a half, I think. And that's going to start in March. So really, I mean, maybe June timeframe, honestly, before we start seeing March, April, May timeframe, before we start seeing other Land Cruisers out there. But the Mexico trip was awesome. It was so good to just turn off for like a week, get some sun, because even though I live in Florida, we've had like a little cold snap lately, and I was so over it. And even like this week, it's gonna get back down into the 50s and 40s, which, Jesus. But it was nice to get some sun, go off my diet for a little bit. Surprisingly, I wasn't as wrecked as I thought I was gonna be stomach-wise by going off my diet. But now I'm back on it. Been 2 days on the diet. I'm allowing fruits now onto it. If you guys don't know, I was doing carnivore for 5 months. I was like pretty carnivore. I did allow dairy and I did allow coffee. But yeah, now I'm just back on animal based, basically, with just beef and fruits. And I mean, it's only been 2 days, but I feel pretty good. We'll hook you up in the Middle East. Also, there's a Nissan competitor, the J70, which is the Y61. I don't even know what that is, but that would be sick. But I would love to go to the Middle East one day. That is definitely on one of my trips that I would like to go to, either Dubai area, Saudi Arabia, or just somewhere. I want to experience that so bad. And then the last question from Nate. So this is the last one I see right now, guys. We've been on for 2 hours. So the last one will be Nate. And I'm sorry, Nate, if you just jumped in. But he says, what's up? Went to the Chicago Auto Show over the weekend. It was really disappointing with the lack of manufacturers. Do you see auto shows disappearing soon? So I am relatively new, I guess, in the whole, it's a Nissan Patrol. Yes, those Patrols look super sick. I'm relatively new in this whole automotive journalism thing, but from what people have said that have been in the game for a while is that auto shows are sad. So that sucks. Granted, there probably are bigger auto shows, but like when I was at Chicago Auto Show last year, it was decently big, but like it wasn't huge. Like honestly, the DC Auto Show that I went to, that one had so many manufacturers. It was so big. Tons of vehicles there, from exotics to Honda to Toyota to the luxury brands. Like, there was so much at the DC Auto Show, and it was really, really cool. So the Chicago Auto Show, when I was there a couple years ago, it was fine. Like, Toyota was there, Lexus was there, Dodge. Oh yeah, so no Dodge, Ram, Fiat this year. So they were there that year that I was there, which is crazy because they have the brand new Ram. So what I'm getting at is, like, when I was at the LA Auto Show, there was hardly anyone. Like, GMC wasn't there, Ram wasn't there. A lot of manufacturers that I wanted to see their trucks and stuff, they weren't there. Honda and Acura, they were like combined together. Same with Kia and Hyundai, they were like combined together. I don't know. I like, from what I've heard, like the biggest one, I guess, is the Detroit Auto Show. And like, I've been to the DC Auto Show, and that was like surprisingly big last year. I'm not sure what it was like this year. So I don't know. We'll see how auto shows go, but I thought that LA would be a lot bigger, and it was fairly small. It wasn't anything like amazing, and even like Toyota didn't even have the Land Cruiser there. Like, and that would just be a cool vehicle to just have, right? But they've brought it to other auto shows, so I don't know. But you saw the GX550 and fell in love, and I believe that they had the black Land Cruiser there as well at the Chicago Auto Show. But yeah, I don't know. They may die in the future. I feel like a lot of the auto shows are cool, but if manufacturers have the vehicles like locked up, then like, what's the point really? Because some people said that they commented on the video that the Trail Hunter was locked. The Land Cruiser, I think, was locked. Like, vehicles were locked. So like, cool, you got to walk around the outside of it, but I feel like auto shows are more for the consumer to like just touch all these vehicles and see how they are and stuff, you know? So it just kind of stinks that, one, vehicles are locked, two, manufacturers aren't really there so you can experience the vehicles. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have a rejuvenation in the future, but we shall see. So, guys, and the Pro Tacoma was locked too. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, maybe they don't want people taking photos and be like, wow, this is so plasticky. I can't believe they're selling this, because you have those people out there that think everything of face value and can't read prototype vehicle, like not fit finish or whatever. So I don't know. But guys, that was 2 hours or so. I appreciate you all coming out. We hung out around 100 viewers the whole time. So if you guys can just hit that like button before you guys head out for your night, I would truly, truly appreciate it. But thank you everyone for coming out. Listen to me ramble about the 6th Gen 4Runner, which I'm stupid excited about. Also a little bit nervous. We talked about Jeff Westcott's stuff that he has going on. I don't know if he texted me back. I don't see it, but I'll give him a call. And then, but yeah, guys, I appreciate everything, and I will catch you in the next live stream next week, next Tuesday. Gonna do it every week. So I appreciate you guys. All right, see you later.